of Hey Orca. We're going to unpack the long-term effects of social media and how it's been an essential form of communication and how to be proactive during this time to reach your clients during the season that we find ourselves in. So stay tuned for the 31st episode of the Home Service Toolbox.
Dedicated to helping home service providers. Every Wednesday, your hosts, Brian and Olivia, will interview leading experts in both the home service field as well as companies who support the small business owner. Our guests will help you nail down what will and what won't work to grow your business. Whether you're on a job site or taking a break, there's no better time to sharpen your small business skills.
Well, hey, everyone. My name is Brian, and I'm the host. And I'm joined today by my co-host, Olivia. How are you today, Olivia?
I'm great, Brian. Can't complain on this Wednesday. How are you?
I know another remote day, but you have some exciting news. You're moving to maybe a new scenery. Like the next podcast, you're going to have a new background. Is that right?
I will. So for all of you viewers who are very tired of my boring window, you will see a new window behind me. I'm moving to downtown Winston-Salem on Friday, right across from the office, so I can walk to work from now on. Very
Unfortunately,
exciting.
but we're not there, so you
No,
can't
we're
really
not
walk.
there. But once all this clears up, I'll be able to walk to work and be the first one there.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Oh gosh. Okay, maybe not. I'll be the second one there. You'll be the first one there. I'll be the second one.
Okay. Well, we're not here to talk about moving. We're here to talk to Katie of Hey Orca. Katie, how are you today?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me, guys. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. So the first thing we got to talk about is you're from Canada. Let's just be honest.
Let's just put it out there.
You're the first person on our podcast from outside the United States, which is very exciting.
That is very exciting.
Our northern friends.
Yes.
So what is the most asked question about Canada, like that you get from people that just annoys the heck out of you?
Oh God. Well, I feel like I'm I'm actually in Newfoundland, so I feel like I'm even further removed from Canada, right? Because I guess the number one question I get asked when I say I'm from Canada, are you from Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal? And I'm like, no, I'm not from any of those places. I'm from Newfoundland, and then that just goes right over people's heads because it's a very small province. It was actually one of the first settlements in North America, though, by the Vikings, because it's the most easterly point of North America. So we have a lot of history there, but it's not very well known. It's a small province of 500,000 people, and the city has about almost 200,000. So I get asked a lot if I'm from the three big cities. I'm not. I'm from a very small city on an island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So I'm definitely out there. But it's a beautiful place. But we say we don't live here for the weather. The weather here is crazy. In January, we had a snowstorm. I know you guys use a different metric system than us, but we had 90 centimeters in one day. I don't know what that is in feet, but the city for a week because we could not get out of our houses. So we get a lot of snow here. We get a lot of crazy weather here, but it's a quaint little town that I was born and raised in. So I'm happy to be here.
Well, I just Googled it. It's 35 feet. No, 35 inches. Sorry. 35 feet would be great.
35 inches.
North Carolina would spin on their head. We had a dusting and were shut down for like 2 days. The only time we had snow all winter, and that was it.
North Carolina is crazy for its weather. Like right now, it's supposed to be like hot, and it is cold. Like the mountains have been getting snow. I mean, North Carolina never gets snow, like even in April, let alone May. So it's been the weather. We always joke about North Carolina. You can have all four seasons in one day. So like, what's the temperature like right now for you guys?
So we use Celsius. So I know. So as we realize our differences, I'm not sure we are today. It is sunny today. I think we're at about 10 degrees Celsius, which I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit. I'm so bad at conversions. If you can do a quick check there, Brian. But
50 Fahrenheit. So
yeah. So We're pretty cold. We don't really have a spring. We pretty much just have snow melting until the end of May. We rain all of June, and then July we might get some sun. So, like I said, we do not live here for the weather. It's not a very hot province. Our winters are 3 times as long as our summers. So, yeah, it's a pretty crazy province to live in for sure.
Wow, that's crazy. So since you guys are so isolated, how has social distancing been going for you guys up there?
Really good, actually. It's I used to hate being isolated on this island, but now I'm so thankful for it. We've actually been able to really flatten our curve. We haven't had new cases in over 2 weeks, so we're actually able to move to phase 4, is what our local government is calling it. So parks are reopening, and some measures are being loosened. Still very strict on the social distancing, but we're able to double bubble with another household now. So we're able to see just one other household. But it's been really great. I'm actually quite proud of our local government, because I feel like we've done a really good job of flattening our curve, which has been tricky for a lot of other places, but we're lucky we're an island and we're quite small. So it didn't really hit us here at the beginning as much as it did anywhere else.
Oh, that's crazy. It's been interesting, to follow all this, but obviously we could probably spend hours talking about Newfoundland and Canada and the coronavirus, but we're here to talk about social media in a way that we can connect beyond the walls when we are needing to social distance. But obviously, social media is a very powerful communication tool, even beyond the social distancing that we find ourselves in. So talk to us a little bit about what you've been seeing companies and how they have chosen to use social media in maybe ways that have not been seen or not as often just during this virus.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of businesses have been forced to use social media. I think it's if you're not comfortable with it beforehand, you have to be comfortable with it now. So it's something I've really seen businesses take to. And for those brick and mortar locations, it's been so challenging because they've had to close up shop. But I know locally here, through the power of social media, they've been able to really keep their business back up, whether they're doing, it's a retail store doing curbside drop off, whether it's a restaurant who are making meal kits to pick up. Social media is their tool to get their voice out there. So I've definitely been seeing ramped up use on social media for sure. Like I said, we're in a small city, so buying local is really important to us. So when it comes to that, that's our local businesses, really are the megaphone to get out to the community. And since people are kind of stuck at home and, the socialization aspect is not part of it, they feel like they're still part of the community when they kind of give back to these businesses. So that's been really nice to see, because it was just so devastating, as I'm sure you guys know, at the beginning, when you just see everything's closing and you're just saying, how can these businesses survive? But I've really seen through the power of social media, these businesses able to keep their sales up, connect with their customers, keep their community thriving, which is, near and dear to my heart since I'm the community manager of Hayorka. I'm really all about keeping communities thriving online on social media. So I think the community aspect has definitely picked up a lot since COVID hit, for sure, because we're all just dying to be connected right now.
All the introverts are like, no, no, I'm kidding.
Besides me, the only extrovert. I
am too.
That's just wonderful to hear. I mean, like you said, community is so powerful, especially during this time. Have you seen a trend with any people, maybe in smaller businesses, that have been more reluctant to join social media prior, like starting to sweep in the trend, especially locally, if they're very unfamiliar with social media? Have they started to maybe create accounts or utilize platforms like Hayorka during this time period?
I think we've definitely seen a lot of freelancers and smaller brands take advantage of Heyorka right now because we're seeing people being laid off from larger agencies or larger businesses, so they've really had to kind of trailblaze their own path. So because of that, I think they've really been able to embrace social media because of that. So yeah, I definitely think that I haven't quite seen people who are were reluctant beforehand because I think it's been over a decade and a half of social media. So at this point, you really have to know that it's so important for your brand and your business. But I've really seen people kind of trailblazing their own paths during COVID for sure, because they either got laid off or something unexpected happened to their business. So they just really took it upon themselves to go to social media and broadcast through there. So that's been really amazing to see the resilience of people on social media, and that's just what I love to see when it comes to my job.
So I think that, if people are even using social media, which most people are, I think that a lot of business owners get frustrated, especially with Facebook
Mm-hmm.
and Instagram, just with the algorithms. And, there's the organic message is so hard to get out there. So let's kind of dive into that. Like, what are some things that you recommend for businesses to really be able to get the message out? Because they're seeing these stats. They're like, we have 1,000 people liking our page, but then only 3 people saw our message. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's where some of the even reluctancy. Maybe it's not reluctancy to get on social media; it's reluctancy to use social media because they're not seeing the benefit. And most business owners, they want a one for one. They put
Yeah.
money in the thing and they want money out. And we know it doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they're expecting. So, any tips, to get that message out even further right now?
Yeah, I would definitely say find your community and harness that. I know that's it seems really simple advice, but knowing who your buyers are and asking yourself, what do they need right now? Like, what are my customers really thinking about right now? And really delivering that to them on social media, I think is really key right now. I also think that a lot of people kind of been asking when COVID first hit. I know we've kind of moved into this normalcy now, but should I be selling during a pandemic? Should I be, asking my customers for money? And I think the big question is, can you afford not to? And we've seen that Facebook ads, the spend has gone up increasingly. So so now is the time to really kind of harness that power while everyone's home and everyone's online. Paid media is an ever changing environment, and even myself, I get overwhelmed by it. So I think if you're looking to venture into that, just get people who know what they're doing on your side, right? You don't have to learn it all in a day. You do not have to learn Facebook ads overnight. So get people who know what they're doing on your side, and then get them to guide you along through. And the more you practice, the better you'll get at it. But I know for a lot of people just starting out, social media can be very overwhelming. But I would just say, keep your community in mind, keep your customer in mind, and think about, what problems can you solve for them right now? It might just be like a picture of a puppy to brighten their day, right? That's all it takes sometimes. But, and I think that's another thing about social media, right? We're so inundated by news, which seems so doom and gloom. If you can add a bit of positivity or brightness or, something that will make your future customer or client stop and their scroll on their phone and smile, that's going to grab their attention. So I think that's been the kind of stuff that I've seen work on social media right now.
I couldn't agree more. I feel like all I see every day are happy, positive, great messages, people jumping on live and talking to people. And it's like you have this whole network of friends that you forgot existed, but now we're all clinging to one another more so than ever, which is great.
Yeah.
So for businesses who, because in the States, we're starting to slowly reopen at a gradual pace,
Mm-hmm.
what advice do you have for business owners who are trying to use social media to gently nudge, hey, we're starting to reopen. This is stuff we're starting to do. How do you think business owners can remain sensitive to the needs of their customer base, but still have enough edge to help guide consumers back to their doors, and start to get things back to normal for the months to come.
Yeah, for sure. I think that we've been really doing at Heyorka right now is there's a little phrase that I like to keep in mind. I think I saw it online a few weeks ago, but now is the time to be of service, not of sales, right? So a big thing for us has been educational content. That is a service that we can provide for free for our clients that will help them in this moment. Especially right now where everyone's trying to kind of learn the latest trends of social media and really get their message out there. We've really been trying to put together content that will educate our consumers, and then that keeps us top of mind for them. That's a real brand awareness tactic, so that when they're ready to buy, when they have the opportunity to, when things are settled down, they'll remember us, because they'll remember that we help them in the time of need by providing educational content. And so I would definitely say tap into that kind of free content that you can give away to your customers or consumers beforehand. I know you guys deal with home services, so even if it's like, this is how you fix a leaky pipe, just a quick video, and then they can see that, and if they have more questions down the road, they'll remember you. They'll remember you from knowing that you posted that free video a while ago. So I think really providing your consumers with content that will help them in this moment will keep that brand awareness going when it's time to reopen and buy again.
One of our clients is a plumber, and I saw them post yesterday. They have to get into really tight spaces, and they posted a picture of a crawl space that was basically only centimeters. I'll use your
Thank you.
More than the body of the person that was going in, and they posted to something like, tight fit today or something like that. And, there's a lot of comments, a lot of engagement, with something that, I thought to myself, I am glad I'm not a plumber, because there's no way I would be in a tight space like that. But, and I'm sure, lots of other people had that same thought. So it's really just engaging. So, there's so many channels for someone to engage with. And obviously I know as a marketer, you want to be where your audience is, and you want to speak to them, and every platform has their kind of unique place. But if a business is trying to utilize social media more today than they were 2 months ago, what platforms would you recommend kind of honing in on and just taking opportunity to learn about as they jump back in?
For sure. I definitely think the big two, Facebook and Instagram, those are where the most people are on right now. That's where the most people are scrolling. And that's where you're going to get kind of the best bang for your buck for paid ads on Facebook and Instagram. So I would definitely recommend learning those channels, because those channels are really where kind of the bulk of your consumers are going to be. Now, it's different if you're, let's say, business to business, then definitely harness the power of LinkedIn. I really love LinkedIn. I was not a lover beforehand, but I'm a recent LinkedIn believer. I really do love LinkedIn for connecting and networking, especially now where, and I actually, even though I'm an extrovert, didn't really like networking. I found that I had a lot of pressure, but LinkedIn, it's online networking, and it's something that you can totally take advantage of. So if you're looking for buyers, if you're business to business, LinkedIn is the place to go. But if you're just starting out, I would absolutely recommend Facebook and Instagram. And I would recommend Google My Business. Google My Business is a great free platform to use that not enough people take advantage of. And if you have, a physical location, you can schedule posts out through Heyorka, and you can post posts on Google My Business as well that basically act like free little Google ads under your listing. And I don't think a lot of people know about that. So Google My Business, if you have a physical location, definitely build out that section, and that is just going to help you with your SEO results if people are searching for you. The more you kind of build out that section, the more results you're going to get.
I'm so glad you mentioned Google My Business. We actually have a webinar that we've done because it's, I don't know how long you've been in the marketing world, but I mean, Google My Business has had a lot of, transformation, with
Yes.
a lot of different crazy tools, under a bunch of different names, and they started taking everything away. And then all of a sudden, slowly but surely, all the little features have been coming back. And as you said, I don't think most people even know that some of these features are there. And the amount of keywords that you can actually put in some of these posts on, the Google My Business post are, even though they disappear, they're still a powerful thing. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, I love Google My Business. We did a webinar earlier this year on it, and I kind of led that. And beforehand, I didn't really know much, so I had to do a lot of research. But I found out so much about that neat little tool, and I have only recommended it to everybody because what's the first thing your consumer is going to do when they're looking for your service? They're going to Google it. That's the first thing they're going to do, right? So if they're out looking for you, especially like if it's a home service like what you guys cater to, and they search for plumber, you want to be the first plumber on that page in that area. So really filling out that section is going to bring you to the top because Google will prioritize if you're spending a lot of time and on your posts, and if you're spending a lot of time on your listing, they're going to prioritize you for sure.
Well, we definitely love Google My Business. As Brian said, I wrote a very nice long blog post all about it over Christmas, and he did a fantastic webinar that is definitely one of our favorites that we've put out.
You don't have to, butter me up right now.
I mean, I'm about to move. Like I said, I might call in on those resources, all of that untapped potential. So we'll see. So earlier, Katie, you were mentioning that HeyOrg has been doing a lot of educational resources that you've been providing to marketers. Could you tell us a little bit more about those?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do a monthly webinar anyways, and we love our webinars. We get, a lot of reach with them, a lot of attendees, and I kind of lead the efforts, and I really, really do love webinars a lot. I love providing content and getting everyone together. So before COVID started, we were kind of planning out our webinars for the year. And then me and Joe, CEO of HeyOrg, kind of looked at each other and said, we need to scrap all of this. We need to scrap all of this, and we need to do something that's more important to right now. So that's what we did. We kind of completely changed our webinar plan and then started an agency support series webinars for during COVID. So we got a lot of great agency advisors involved, like Carl Sakis, Lee Goff, Robbie Berthum, and one of our customers, Bueller Inc. They were there because they're a fully remote agency. So they helped us do a webinar on how to transition to remote. We got a communications crisis specialist in, Jessica Audsley, to talk about how to create a communications crisis plan for your clients or for your business during this time. So really, we just wanted to put together information that was relevant right now. So we put this support series together. We had 6 webinars in total, and we were really proud of our efforts because we really feel like we provided content that was needed by our community at that moment. And then we also put together this big resource page of all the materials from our webinars and articles that just Joe and I have found along the way that have been helpful during COVID. And I think it's something that we realized we needed to give our community. We couldn't just pretend like things were fine and do a status quo webinar about Facebook ads right now. We needed to address the issue. So I would definitely recommend that to businesses that, you need to be upfront with your customers and clients right now about what's going on. So providing that educational content, like if you were just to ask yourself the question, what is my client's biggest issue right now? And that has to be the question you ask yourself, because for us, when we put that support series together, we realized that we had made the right choice for sure. So I can definitely send you guys the link for the COVID page afterwards, but it's a full page full of resources for agencies, tons of articles, blogs, worksheets, webinars, all in one page, and really proud that we put that together because we really feel that it was needed by a lot of people in our agency community.
Well, I think that's great, just helping people. And I think that's really what you hit on earlier, for, our audience. I think the question that you asked, was, what is the most important thing, or need that they have right now? And I think our customers, our listeners can be asking that, so people like us, we are office people, we're remote office people, we live behind a computer, and so it's a lot easier to create content than some of our clients. And so maybe walk us through about some ideas about how people, like boots on the ground people, the people that are literally doing the work, because the way we approach social media for our clients is, we're going to be producing, content, but in a form of blogs, ebooks, and things that are necessary to keep, SEO and content flowing. But we believe that the day-to-day content and the real life content really needs to come from the business owner or business itself, because it doesn't make any sense, in my opinion, for a business owner to send me a picture of them crawling underneath, the crawl space, and then telling us to post it. Just post it yourself. So for those that don't live behind the computer, kind of summarize my question. What are some easy ways that they can create content? Because I think when people hear the word content, they think of, oh my gosh, like I have to write something. And besides Olivia, which is our content writer, most people dread that. So.
Yeah, so like just when you were talking about that post earlier, the plumber showing the small crawl space, I absolutely love that, because I think what kind of these small businesses need to keep in mind is document everything, and I mean everything. Like, I know it's hard to get in that mindset if you're not a phone person and you don't always have it on you, but really just document any little thing that happens in your day-to-day life, whether it's a small crawl space, even a win in your company. Maybe it's somebody's birthday. Any of those things, just document everything. And then if you're too overwhelmed to kind of do it all at once, like use a platform like Heyorka that allows you to schedule and directly publish your posts in advance. That's what I do for I do our content as well. And I just batch content together, so I'll do my social media calendar for the month, and I just have all the content ready to go. I'll leave a few spaces open for day-to-day stuff, but really getting ahead of that and documenting everything in advance. And we talk about evergreen content a lot. So that's content that can be used anytime, anywhere. So just try to keep that in mind when you're documenting. It could be, like I said, if you want to show how to fix a leaky pipe, you can shoot a video like that, and then you could make so much content from that just one video. You can take a still image and put it on Facebook. You can, if you want to go to, be really hip and go to TikTok and put it on TikTok and put a music track behind it. You could write a little step-by-step process on LinkedIn. So I think it's just really being creative about taking one piece of content and being able to repurpose it into many different pieces. That's what we love about our webinars so much. We do one webinar, and then I have, so much content derived from that webinar. So, I think it's really about working smarter, not harder. Just, document, my advice is document everything, and then really try to repurpose your content from there. But even things, like a lot of these businesses, they're very kind of in their own bias, and they think, oh, people won't want to see that. They will. People will want to see that, especially right now. People are very bored. They want to see, stuff on their news feeds that they're not seeing in their home right now, especially for home services, right? And people are thinking about, oh, maybe I should renovate this or do this to my house. Oh my God, before and after pictures. I love before and after pictures. I have a whole home renovation Pinterest board full of before and after pictures. So I would just say document everything, and some stuff's going to work and some stuff isn't. And that's okay. If you have a post gone out that doesn't have any likes on it, social media moves at the speed of light. So that will be forgotten about in a second, and you can try again tomorrow. So don't take it too hard if your content's not working. It takes a while to kind of build up that profile, build up that muscle. But if you stay committed to documenting everything that goes on in your business, you will start to build a community for sure.
I couldn't agree with that statement more. To kind of pivot a little bit, reading your bio, I saw that you had a background in journalism and radio, and now being the content savvy guru that you are, such as myself, I have to ask, what compelled you to join the marketing world and leave behind journalism and radio? Because clearly you're very talented and are very comfortable behind the screen and talking to us. So I really appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No, listen, my number one love will always be radio. I love radio. That's kind of where I cut my teeth when I was a 19-year-old journalism student. I worked for our local radio station as a reporter, and I loved that job. Oh, man. Every day was different. Every day was new. But being a reporter is exhausting. And even by the time I got to 23, I realized, some people want to do this for the rest of their lives. I don't. I loved it while I did it, but I was looking for something a little more stable. And I love journalism. I will love it forever. And, I hope to go back into it, whether it's in a podcast or a radio show or something later on. But the industry just wasn't stable enough for me to want to stay. And I just had kind of too much ambition, and I just wanted to kind of get into a more growing industry. So I left journalism, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew that, I was a good communicator, and that I liked social media, and I knew how to use it. So I started doing freelance social media for some businesses, and that ended up turning to a marketing position that led me to Hey Orca. And I do not regret it one bit, because it's almost the same as journalism, where every day is new, every day is different. I still get to communicate and tell stories. And that was the biggest thing for me. I love to be a storyteller, and you still get to do that with marketing and content creation. So that was definitely a big sell for me in marketing, and I love it.
I think that's the reason why I'm in marketing, is just there's something new every day. I could not be in a job where I have to crank out the same thing over and over and over. I would be way too bored.
Me too.
And then not only are we doing something new every day, but our entire industry changes literally every day. And for most people, that drives people bonkers, because they don't like change. I love change.
Oh yeah, I need deadlines to move, right? Like I'm a procrastinator by habit, so that's why I got into journalism, and I needed to beat those deadlines. And same with marketing, you got to meet those deadlines to stay on track. So for me, I love the fast pace movement of it, and I love just trying to kind of stay on top of trends, and it's you never learn enough, and I think that's key for me, because it keeps me growing, and it keeps me ambitious, and it keeps me want to keep moving forward. So that's what I so love and appreciate about marketing.
So you used the word document earlier, and I really think that was a really helpful word, because I think that's the problem that so many business owners have, is that when they get to social media, when they actually are logging on to Facebook or Instagram, at 11:30 at night, they're like, crap, I haven't posted in, 15 months. And they're like, I got to post, I got to do something. They don't know what to post, and they haven't documented. And I think when you think about documenting, you mentioned document everything. What are ways that business owners and leaders can help communicate the importance of that to their team, because they may not be out in the field. And obviously, everyone probably has a smartphone, but just because you have a camera on your smartphone does not mean you can take good pictures with your camera. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, what are some, maybe very simple tips that you could provide, to someone that still finds this documenting as overwhelming, that before and after picture. Like I see so many after pictures from our clients, but they didn't take the time to stop and do the before. And I'm like, that's the meat. So I don't know if there's a really question in there, but
No, totally. I think for people who are not used to it, I'm a big believer in the checklist. That's what keeps me on track. So if you really want to start upping your content, make a checklist at the beginning of the day. Okay, I'm going to take a picture of Brad doing this. I'm going to take a picture of, a happy client. I'm going to take a picture of, us out in the field. I'm just going to take a picture of, Joanna. We love to see human faces on social media, because what gives us the interaction. Especially now, it feels like we're communicating and we're socializing through, seeing other people on social media. So I would definitely say, find out what you want to tell your clients. What is the message that you want to tell your clients? Write that down, and then every day write a checklist underneath of what photos or videos you want to grab from today, and start to plan ahead. If you are doing a big home renovation in 2 weeks, make sure that you have that written down in your calendar and that you're taking all the before pictures now and all the after pictures later. Because I will tell you, like I said, before and after pictures absolutely kill it on social media, because they tell a story just in an image. In one image, it tells a story of what this once was and what it is now. So that is hugely captivating on social media. I know that if I'm scrolling, I see a before and after picture, I stop to look at it. But it really is having people, like for us at Hey Orca, when we were back in the office, any sort of silly thing we were doing, whether it was our daily stand-ups or whether it was ordering Chinese food for lunch or whether it was taking a video game break, we always tried to take pictures of it because it shows our office culture and it shows kind of who we are. And through that, it tells a story. So I know I'm speaking really broad with document everything and tell stories, but it's so different for every company. But I would really just try to say, what do we want to tell our customers about us? What should they know about us? Because sure, there's a million different home renovation companies in the world. What's different about you guys, the people that work for you guys, and how can you showcase those two people? Because then that builds the trust online, because that's the biggest thing with trying to sell something online is the trust. If you show real people, real faces, real names, real stories, that is going to be the thing that connects you with your audience.
Wow. There's just so much to unpack there. I mean, the human connection, especially now in the season we're in, that's what people are really looking for. And by taking the time to really document those moments, like you said, I mean, it just makes those connections last even longer, and it gives people a tangible way to really hold on to your business while they can't necessarily reach out and pay for a service right now. So I think that's really true. And if that's the case, Brian, we need to start stepping up our office picture game. Amanda needs to come in here and start taking more pictures of us doing things, even if it's just sitting there behind our desks. I mean, we're behind the curve.
Well, yeah, I use pictures of people sitting behind their desks almost like every month, and it's whether it's just like, fun facts from Hey Orca, or, we call all of our coworkers Orcas. So like, here's an Orca fact, because people want to get to know you, they want to build that trust. They want to get to know you. So even highlighting, one member of your company with a fun fact, that will, I promise, get you the engagement that you need, because people can connect to that. They can relate to that.
Yeah, I think that's a reality that our business owners they just think people just don't care, and so trying to help them understand that people really do care, and the reality is they're only going to care to, make a comment or like, and it's not like we're asking them to, sign their life away, with our company. But it's that, the big T word that you said earlier, which is trust. You're trying to build trust. And when you're human, when people can see that, people choose to, partner with you.
Absolutely.
You mentioned TikTok, and maybe that's where you're going to go, but what is there something happening now that business owners need to be kind of be aware of, or, a trend that may be, coming down the pike, to something that people just really should just keep their ear out for?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it would be Instagram Live, and to be able to have guests on your Instagram Live. That is huge. That is a huge, new feature from Instagram, to be able to have a guest request to go on live with somebody else. Instagram Live's having a huge moment right now, and to be able to kind of have that two-way live conversation on the platform, I think not enough businesses are taking advantage of. And you might say, well, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to do. But, if we're going back kind of to the home services, you could talk to, an interior designer and just have a conversation about, how do I, dress up my kitchen? What colors are in season this year? What trends are we looking out for? Any conversation that you think that your listeners will be interested in. Everyone is dying for content right now. That's the big, it's not even a secret. That's just the big thing in COVID right now. People are home absorbing so much content. So really, you can put anything out there right now and it will be absorbed. So I think Instagram Live is a great feature, especially being able to have that kind of two-way live conversation with somebody else is something that businesses should definitely be taking advantage of, because it's so simple. You just, get on live, have a conversation, and people miss talking. They miss listening to these types of conversations. So I really believe they'll tune in and if you can teach them something along the way, then that's even better because you're providing value.
Quick question. Is that offered to all accounts? Because I know that sometimes they roll things out to, over 10,000 plus. I know Instagram Live's for everyone, but is the two-way feature on all accounts?
Yeah, that's available for everybody. Business, personal, doesn't matter. You can do two-way live Instagram chat.
Very cool.
Yeah, I tried it out for the first time over the weekend with some friends. We did a little comedy thing, and it was a lot of fun. I have to say, I never tried anything like that before, but we had a lot of fun doing it and got a few people watching, and it was great. I had so much fun. So I highly recommend looking to this feature, and it will stay on your story for 24 hours afterwards, and then it's gone. So you know what? If you don't like it, it's only a moment in time.
One more question about that, because this is news to me. So I like learning things. So is it like Zoom that when someone's talking, it brings your face up, or are you kind of side by side?
Yeah, so it kind of splits the screen from top to bottom.
Okay.
And the cool thing is that, so let's say you decide to do a live about whatever topic, let's say it's Google My Business. You didn't plan on having a guest, but let's say someone in the comments says, hey, I have this really neat tip. Can I go on live with you? They can request to go on live, and then you can accept that request and they can come on live with you. So it really can be that spur of the moment kind of conversation, which is so cool to watch in real time, right? So it's a really neat feature that I would love to see businesses take advantage of.
I've personally not necessarily seen too many businesses, but I've seen a lot of celebrities, because late at night, what else do I have to do once I'm done with work for the day? They'll do lots of live streams and Q&As, and then they'll ping requests and they'll bring up a random fan and they'll freak out. And it's so genuine how excited they are and the conversations they have, and trivia games and questions they'll ask. So I find it very entertaining. And I'm like, man, I should put in my request. Let's see what happens. Odds are I won't get on, but
you don't know.
You just never know. You never know till you try. So I couldn't agree more. It's an amazing platform, and that's my new thing before bed. When I have downtime, I'll read a book when I'm done packing, or I'll just go watch a couple Instagram live videos and just see what happened, and get pinged on my phone that, hey, this person went live. And I'm like, oh, sweet. I want to watch that. See what they have to say today. And it's just the best.
Yeah, and you mentioned Q&As. Q&As are an amazing tool to do live. Amazing. You can't talk to your customers face to face right now. Go on Instagram Live and say, hey, ask me anything. That is a great way to use Instagram Live. So even if you're a small business and you're not sure what to put out there, let your community come to you and ask you the questions. And I guarantee you're going to engage more people through that medium for sure.
That reminds me of a book I'm sure you read, They Ask You Answer, and just the concept of your customers are asking questions, and if you are not the business that's providing that answer, they're going to go somewhere else, very simply. And
absolutely, right. So why not take a chance on Instagram Live and open it up, and if you don't have that many people, you don't have as much questions as you want, it all takes time, right? So it all takes a few tries, and I think that's where the most people get stuck, right? Oh, I didn't have anyone on my first Instagram Live, so I'm not gonna do it again, But with Hey Orca, when we started our webinars, we would get 30 signups and be stoked, we'd be so excited excited. And on one of our webinars earlier this year, we had over 500, almost 500 signups, right? So it takes that time to grow. So just remember that it takes time on social media, and it's so instant that no one's going to remember that you had an Instagram live with 2 people, so just keep trying and keep experimenting. That's what this time is for, and that's what social media is for.
Well, cool. Well, just as we wrap up, do you feel like there's anything, that you've learned through the years that you feel like is like, one really good tip that you want to leave our audience, whether it's about social media or not, just an encouragement, to business owners and employees and leaders that are, in the trenches right now?
Yeah, and I said it earlier, but I just love this quote, and I feel like it's really carried me through COVID, and it is, be of service, not of sales at this moment, and I think that's really opened the gate for what content can become. It doesn't have to be salesy. It doesn't have to be kind of, buy this product. It can be engaging, even from a business. It can be engaging. It can build communities. It can bring people together, So when you're thinking about content, it doesn't, you'll get there to, in the terms of sales, right? You'll figure out how to sell your product, because at the end of the day, if you're the business owner, you're working for the company, you know how to sell your product. The real key on social media is bringing that community together, and to see that happen is just so amazing. We have a Facebook group with Hey Orca called Life in Social, and it's for anybody who is working in social media. So feel free to join. And we started it about a year ago, and it was a lot of us kind of going through the trenches, posting our own content. But now we see, someone ask a question, and then all of our community members just jump on that post to answer that question, right? It's been a really amazing, welcoming community. So I think right now, think about who your community is and what they need to know. Think about that for your content, and the sales will come when the time is right, for sure.
That's awesome. One last question from me is, what is your favorite part of your job at Hey Orca?
For me, yeah, like I know it's in my title, but I love the community building. That's huge for me. The people that I've met along the way of this journey of leading our webinars and running our Facebook group, I've met real friends, basically, right? And one of the coolest parts about it was, earlier this year, it feels like forever ago, I was actually in San Diego for the Social Media Marketing World Conference, and I was about to leave one of the sessions, and I was there with one other coworker. I knew she was at the booth, and I just hear someone yell, Katie, and I was like, well, that can't be me. I don't know anybody here. I'm from Canada. I know where my other coworker is. And I turned around, and it was a member of Life and Social who said, I recognized you here. And this is a member who, is very active in the group, who I talk to all the time. It was so cool to meet her in real life at this conference. So that by far is my favorite part of the job. I'm a real people person. I'm a real chatterbox. So anytime I get to connect with people and really get to know them on that personal level is just so gratifying for me.
Well, all the introverts are like, no. And,
I know. I'm like,
but all the extroverts are like, I saw this meme right before I went online, and it was a joke basically about this person is at the house, and they said they saw someone turn around in their driveway, and they walked outside with 2 beers, and they realized that they were just turning around. They were getting so excited that someone was going to be coming to visit them, and they were just
If I get a curbside delivery, you better bet I'm out at the curb greeting that person, saying, "Hey, 65, hey, how's it going?" And think of that human interaction. I know I've been joking around with my boyfriend. I'm like, Tinkerbell, I need applause to live. I need human interaction. So.
And I'm like, okay, leave it on the doorstep. Don't talk to me. It's just so funny how different people are. And Olivia,
before 11
like
a.m.
Katie.
that I'm not a morning person. So before 11 a.m., I'm probably a little more like you, Brian. But I'm definitely an introvert as the day goes on. Depends how many coffees I've had, but definitely an extrovert as the days go on.
Oh, I wake up and I'm ready. I'm like, all right, I got my coffee. Where's the Amazon guy? Let's go. What's happening? Who can I text? What's going on? I'm on Slack. Like, who's on live? Who can I chat to? No one. Okay. That's how we'll start the day. And then they'll gradually join on and it gets better. But I'm 100% like you, Katie. I'm extroverted all the way through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good. Well, I appreciate, Katie, you taking time to join us today out of your busy schedule and just encouraging our audience, how to use social media, for their benefit and really, build that community. So thank you.
Oh, thank you guys. I love having these conversations. I really do love my job and love to talk about the aspects of it, especially when it comes to community building. It's a real big passion of mine. So if anyone out here wants to reach out to me to chat, my email is just Katie, Katie @heyorka.com. Feel free to chat with me, and we can also talk about, the content we have coming up, the webinars we've come up. We do a lot of webinars about social media knowledge, and we'll have a few of those later on this year. So definitely keep an eye out and visit our website as well to keep an eye on those. But yeah, I just love chatting with people. So feel free to reach out.
Maybe go actually to San Francisco next year and they'll meet you in person.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I know.
Do you go to Inbound by chance?
No. Like last year was and the one in March was my first conference, actually, my first out of Canada conference. Hoping to go some more. Probably not this year, though. I don't think I'll be allowed to country this year. So maybe just virtual meetups for now. But yeah, hope to need a few more conferences off my list. Hopefully in 2021.
It's kind of crazy to think about. But anyway, on next week's episode, we're going to interview Mishka Fisher. Hopefully that is pronounced correctly. Chief Economics for Angie Home Service. And we're going to unpack how business owners and home service providers can overcome some of the economic challenges they've experienced over the past few weeks, which has surely been a lot of challenges. So we want to definitely talk with them about just how we can overcome some of this stuff.
And as always, if you guys like the content we put out, please subscribe to our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook Live, all that jazz, and leave us some comments and feedback. It means the world to us, and we really appreciate you guys tuning in every week.
Break time's over, but thanks for listening to the Home Service Toolbox. Keep your marketing toolbox up to date by subscribing to our podcast. We'll be here every Wednesday hammering out solutions to help your business.